So everyone is here. Let me share and we can start. Hello to the TUC meeting on 17th of October. The agenda for today is to review the action items from last week. We will get an update from the Application Runtime Platform Working Group. Then we have any other to review the PRs and RFCs, any other business. So let's jump to the action items from last week. So we had one about providing feedback for the GitHub admin configuration for the working group areas. We have this one as another as a point on the other business, so I will mark this down. And I also saw that Amelia started a new RFC here, so we can discuss it when we are reviewing the PRs and RFCs. And yeah, let's go to the update, working group update section. So Amelia.
Sure. Good to see you all again. It's been a while. Let's see, my last update was late June. So some things that have changed since then. We've gotten one new approver. Max Moehl from SAP is now a networking approver, which is great. Slowly continuing adding people. Love it. Also, Go 121 was released in August, and so everything in the working group is now running on the latest version of Go. Very exciting. One thing that we've been talking about, even in the TOC, has been readiness health checks, right? We approved the RFC, all of us, and CFD 32.2, which came out a couple weeks ago, includes the first bits of it. So now app devs can configure readiness health checks via the app manifest. If any of you try it and have feedback, we would love to hear it. But this isn't all of the work that we laid out in the RFC, so there's still some things we're working on. The biggest of which is currently there's no easy way to tell if your app is marked ready or not. Like we print it out in the logs, oh, you're now ready, oh, you're not ready, and back and forth, but you don't want to have to look at your individual app logs to figure that out. That's not ideal. It's also in like the LRP definition, the actual LRP definition, but you don't, obviously that's not how app devs commonly interact with their apps. So we want to expose that. And then add all of these to the CFCLI as well. All the CRUD operations. So that's one of the big things that we're working on. And our perennial topic, AZ aware routing, now renamed AZ local routing, because we have to change names every couple years for this feature. I think I've been talking to you. We're thinking about doing this for over a year now. So we're still thinking about doing it. I actually have stories in my backlog to possibly do it. It might happen. There's a design proposal. I know several people from Dominique from SAP has given some feedback, but we would love to hear more, any feedback from you all or anyone on the design proposal, because I know some areas of SAP are looking at doing something around routing algorithms as well, and we want to make sure not to step on each other's toes or re-architect something or anything like that. So any review would be appreciated. My favorite, since you all know I care a lot about Go bumps, is Maria did this track of work that I am so happy with for her team, which she works on teams that maintains networking, Diego, and garden areas. So that's not my entire working group, but it's a large portion of my working group. Yeah, can you click that first link? Beyhan, yep. So we now have one file to declare a Go version. And when you update this file, it will trigger pipelines and update it across all of our releases, our images, our other little random things that we maintain that aren't Bosch releases. We have some CLIs out there. And there's ways to overwrite this. So if we want to hold GoRouter back because we think there's going to be an issue with the newest one in GoRouter, we can overwrite this default for GoRouter. but I am very excited about this because we had it somewhat automated, but you had to find all the places for each little thing and remember them all. And we had this like spreadsheet. We've had it for several years now as goes updated. That's like 20 different things that we updated for and making sure they all get released. But now she also made a website that does that for us. So if you go back to the meeting notes, there's a link. That's the override. Yeah, the website. It's partially aimed for TRAS, but it also has open source stuff. And I would like to add more things in here. So it's getting up-to-date data on the releases. But here you can see these are all the names of the images that we run in our pipelines. And here's all the releases that her team maintains. So we can see the version of Go that it's flowed through, that we've got it on develop, that we've got it released. We have some TAS information here, but the plan is to add CFD information in the future as well. And hopefully I would love to get this for the other areas of my working group, which is mostly networking and, sorry, not networking and routing, for metrics and logging are the other ones that use Go. So I'm very excited about this because we had, one of the things that also came with this is making sure that the unit tests run with the exact same version that's in the release, because the unit tests get their Go version from the like Docker image that they're running. And we had an issue recently when we bumped to, I think when we bumped to 120, that all the acceptance tests passed, but we didn't realize that we didn't bump the Go version in the Docker image. And our unit test would have failed and we could have caught the bug, but we weren't running the unit test with the right Go version before we released. And so this will now ensure that we're running all of our unit tests and acceptance tests with the same version of Go, and we won't get that mismatch anymore. So I'm very excited about this. I can't wait for the next release, and I just get to edit one file and it's going to be perfect. Can't wait.
Is the source of this website available somewhere? Like, can other working groups contribute to that?
Yeah, I believe it's in Maria's personal repo right now, but I can share that. And yeah, we can work to bring it into the like official working group. Yeah, that's my update. Any questions?
Did you get any feedback on the readiness health check?
We've gotten some from Dominique, but we're still waiting to hear back to have more of a conversation. But there's like a little bit of work I think we can do that we all are agreed on before. So we're not totally blocked yet, I guess is what I'm saying.
Are there any other questions?
Ram.
Hey, anything that you'd like to see go on the blog or do a live stream about in any of the recent work that you've done?
Well, yeah, that might be good for the readiness health check stuff. We haven't done any blogs or anything about that, have we? I don't think.
Not that I can recall.
Let's wait until we do the future work of exposing if the app is ready or not. I feel like that's a big piece. But I'll make a note to add it in of our backlog that once we do that to reach out to you. That's a good idea.
Sure. Whenever you're ready.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, Amelia, for the update. Really exciting stuff. Now we have our PRs to review. First one, I think it's a proposed change here. Don't think I got a response here. So I tried the PR to generate contributions with this, and I felt for our working group, because in our working group we have areas named like the integrated database with MySQL/Postgres, and when you have something like this in the name, so the script fails because it tries to generate gist with this name, and this is not, GitHub doesn't allow it. So here is the error you get. So
Nice job catching that.
yeah, we need, so it's still not ready for review. The next one is about promoting Andrew and Dave for leads in the CF on Kubernetes working group, but this depends on the RFC which we have on how to promote them. So that's why we'll still leave it here. And so we can go to the RFCs. The first one is about the deprecation of the metrics agent. So we started the final comment period here. I didn't see any comments, so this is then approved. So we need, we need approvals here. I can go on much. So I have action items for next time to generate the number here and see whether the script works. No. Okay, the next one is the new RFC. Amelia created about promoting and revoking working group leads.
Yeah, can you click the link? We only talked about promoting, but when I was looking at the other roles, they also had areas for revoking, so I figured I would add that as well. Initially, when we were chatting about this, we were chatting about how like the tech leads are sponsored by the TOC, but the execution leads aren't. And I found that I thought that was the case, but when I looked back and read the roles doc, they were both actually listed as sponsored by the TOC. So for simplicity, I made both the rules the same for both of them. Seemed easier to do, but if we have any, this is just like a straw proposal. Effectively, it's if you meet the criteria, you can submit a PR. There's like a final comment period, and the TOC. So the people who approve it are the TOC, any other leads who are in the working group, if you have multiple. And then I gave like a vote to any approvers, and basically like anyone who's an approver could vote if they wanted to by commenting on the PR and saying it needed 75%. We could change any of this if we want, but I just thought it'd be nice to give approvers like a little bit of say in their leads.
And more power for us.
And what?
more power for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Do we have any feedback now, or should we leave some times to think about this and discuss it next week?
And then just for it, maybe I'll cover revocation. Basically, if someone wanted to not be the role, they have the like total power of removing themselves. We can't force anyone to stay in their role, no matter how much we might want to. But then I copied the language from the approvers about how to revoke if someone else is, we're trying to revoke a third party. So basically anyone can submit the PR, or I guess an approver or one of us can submit the PR, and then they're given 2 weeks to refute it, but that we, of course, in all of our power and wisdom, have the final say.
Okay, there doesn't seem to be any feedback yet. Let's wait until next week and we can then.
There was one suggestion from Anita. Some textual change.
I just added a couple of wording changes, but
Oh, much appreciated.
pretty minor.
Yeah, I saw, but yeah, exactly. There were not something in the definition. Yeah. Okay. We have an action. Yeah, don't know whether we need an action item here. And there is also another RFC I just opened today about. We've been discussing this topic, and so I thought we can start with an RFC here about the FIPS support in the community for the Bosch and CF components. So basically, at the moment, there is no FIPS validation upstream in the community, and this is about how this can be done in the community, producing an internal FIPS stem cell with the provided FIPS access by Canonical, which was negotiated with Canonical, and using that FIPS stem cell for internal validation. So first, validating that the Bosch director can run on it, and afterwards trying to validate CF in the CF deployment before releasing the CF. Basically, so there is a generic proposal what has to be done, and more detailed one which is split into working groups. At the moment, it looks like foundational infrastructure working group will have some work to do, and runtime deployment working group. Of course, if there are any issues with the CF components, it could be that the components itself has to look into this. Any questions, feedback?
I like the reproducible bit because that was a concern of ours at CloudGov. Depending on, since we're building them downstream, having some sort of package version commit, as you're saying there in there would definitely help, because you're right. Since from a security perspective, it's always building from the latest and greatest. You build it today, I build it tomorrow. I might have a newer version that has a bug, and I'm pulling my hair out, and you guys are going, "What's wrong? I don't see anything."
Okay, then I will try to somehow promote the two new RFCs because they impacted all the working groups. This one and the one about promoting and revoking leads, so that we get more feedback also from the working group leads. And let's discuss those next time. And now, any other business?
Maybe one question to the last RFC. Yep. Would it make sense, or just to discuss it, should we have some, let's say, tentative timelines mentioned, like we have done in the CF Linux FS4 RFC? I mean, they may change. It's just to get an idea, or is it too vague yet? And so much in the beginning that we say may happen in 2 years and 5 years and 10 years, who knows? So I don't want to mention anything.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I want to say I think it's a bit uncertain what the timeline is because of mainly canonical, right? The FIPS packages for Jammy aren't like even available in the updates channel at this point. So like, I don't know, like it's a big blocker, right? Like it's something we don't control.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the other avenue of it is even after everything is submitted, it's out of the control of when the approval and stamp will actually come from CISA on it. And like a cloud.gov perspective, until that is granted, we can run the stem cell, but we can't have the FIPS features enabled until such time that authorization is granted. So.
Yeah, I meant more the timeline for the different working groups, so that you, I don't know, once the stem cell, the first version is technically there, then it takes some time for the App Runtime Deployments working group to set up a validation, and then spread the bugs and the news to all the other working groups, and then the real work starts, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we're coming into tail end, year end, holiday season and everything else, I'll be shocked if, be honest, in my opinion, working groups touch this until the new year. That's just my opinion, but it's
Okay, then let's leave it like this. And
but I think we can discuss in the foundation infrastructure working group whether we can come up with something more concrete, because we are the dependency for the others.
I think there's like some like incentive or pressure, at least on our side, to get something going, but we're blocked by canonical, right? So that's I think the main thing.
But good point, Stephan. Okay, then any other business? Or the first one is the issue about GitHub project administration for working group areas. Did you have time for your homework? I think, Stephan, you have more insights about what is possible.
I played a little bit around with the option number 2, this special GitHub plan. Unfortunately, it won't solve the real issue for most of the working groups, because secret management still requires admin access, and that was the most requested feature. I mean, there are more functionalities that you can get, but not secret management. And then the question is whether this whole plan change, etc., makes sense. So more or less, I'm afraid we have to talk about whom to grant admin rights.
It has a timeline. Is there like a response from GitHub in that feature request about like a timeline on when they are? Do we know if this is something?
I don't even know if there's a feature request to make secret management. At the moment, it's just the functionality. It's documented that you need admin access to create secrets.
But you said the most requested feature was to manage secrets.
Internally, the reason why we talk about granting admin access to approvers was internally that the working group areas wanted to know. No, has nothing to do with GitHub. Yeah, I also played around on our internal GitHub Enterprise version. Looks the same. There is no possibility.
Could we try to reach out to GitHub and ask about any plans here to change some?
Could try. Maybe we can ask Chris. He has some channels towards GitHub, or could also look if there's an issue open on GitHub.
Yeah, I mean, I just know from like when I was looking into the GitHub project stuff, right? Like the beta projects, there were a lot of like things that we were running into that had like a lot of discussion around it. So I thought that you found something like that.
No. So if we want, let's say, a near-time solution, I guess we have to choose from the other options, which are all not nice, but yeah.
Yeah, so like the prospect of like, so option 2 to me is like the best option if it were possible. And like depending on like how far, like if GitHub would be working on something like that, like I would be happy to go with option 1, basically stay with what we currently have and wait for the proper solution. But if there's no prospect of that happening, we might have to look into option 4 or something.
Is this something you can check? Or...
I'm happy to reach out. Or the options could be, I mean, we have discussed upgrading the plan that the Cloud Foundry org is on. And if that's something that, I mean, it would be some amount of expense, like tens of thousands of dollars a year, nothing crazy. We could do that. So yeah, happy to explore this. Someone reach out to me. You just ping me on Slack after this, and we can kind of explore this a little bit more. And if I need to reach out to GitHub, I can do that.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And yeah, let's wait while I get feedback here, and then okay, the next one is by me. So we had the introduction of the Jammy stem cell line and stack, and so we decided at that point to skip one LTS version. So we decided to do a 4 years release cycle, so to say, and now next year is coming the next Ubuntu LTS version, and this is about should we decide on foundation level whether we want to go with 2 years release cycle, so to say, consume every LTS release, or have a 4-year release cycle, skipping one and trying to consume every other release, which we saw that it's a little bit tough because of timelines and other issues. So this is just triggering the discussions about how do you feel here?
See, everybody is opening the documents.
Okay, I can open, of course. This is the old RFC about for introducing the Jammy stem cell line and stack. So for the stem cell, is at least our experience was that for the stem cell it is not so critical, but the stack was much more critical because you have to migrate customers from the CFNUX, from the one stack to the other, because end of life of the old stack, and if you have like 3 months overlapping period where you can do this, it's quite challenging to do this for the short time. So if we have 2-year cycles, so you would have stacks which have around 2 years overlap, 1 year overlapping time, and much more easier while migrating or asking customers to migrate to the new one. This is the motivation to have 2 years. And yeah.
I think it makes sense, but it's more also like I mean, it's an investment, right? So I think we will have to consult internally, at least on the VMware side. I need to consult and figure out like if there's an appetite for this type of thing. So, I mean, I don't know if we are at the stage where we want to go with an RFC yet, right? Like, maybe it's good to figure out internally in the different companies that contribute to such an effort if we want to do such a thing.
I think from SAP side, there is an interest to have that. But yeah, it's definitely more work. Build packs, building the stack, the validation. Okay, that's probably not so difficult, but the maintenance of parallel stacks and testing them, including the build packs. If the build packs are the same on all the stacks, like it is at the moment with 3 and 4, the effort is probably reasonably low, but if that is for whatever reasons not possible, next OpenSSL major version or so, then the fun starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, for us at Cloud Gov, probably the biggest holdback is going to be, is Canonical for every release going to pursue FIPS, or are they going to do every other? Because like I don't believe they went after FIPS for Focal. They went from Bionic right to Jammy. So for us, there would be no reason to use Focal in this example because it wouldn't have ever gotten validated.
It's a good point.
Yeah, okay.
Is there a way for us to figure that, to get clarity on that? Oh.
I have no idea. I mean, I can shoot an email over to Mark to just ask him from the current FIPS project if there's any rationale on why they skipped Focal. Is it just every other one's their generic plan? And we'll see what he says.
Will be great, because this is also important input. Okay, then I think we can bring this topic and next meetings again to see whether we have more clarity here. But I think it should be very good to have decision on foundation level so that members can plan how to how to do the next migration and so on. Okay, this was the last one. Is there anything else?
Do we want to capture the action item or Chris, like sending the email to Canonical?
Yes, we have 2 action items for 2 also for.
Oh yeah, for Chris's.
Okay.
So what's interesting is actually looking at Canonical's site for Ubuntu Pro, they claim they have it on Focal.
FIPS, you mean?
Yeah. Interesting. So maybe they do pursue it for every major release. But I'll double check that with Mark.
Yep. Okay, next working group update. We had all the working groups now, and we have a new working group which didn't have any update until now. Anita, would you be able to provide updates next time?
Sure, it would take about 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I do have a question before we wrap for today, and that's about branching the doc repos. I talked to Amelia about it yesterday, and I hope you don't mind me mentioning it here as well, Amelia. But I would like to branch the doc repos. They haven't been branched for quite a while. So I'm wondering, historically, what are the criteria for branching the docs? Does anybody have a feel for that?
My hypothesis that I want to pair with you on in validating is that we branch them every time we need a new TAS release, because the CF docs are always on master or main or what, right? Because they're always moving forward. We don't maintain multiple versions, but we do pull in the CF docs into our TAS docs. And so that's my guess, is that we gave it the branch version of CFD at the time that we made a TAS release. Is my hypothesis. But we can investigate that more together. But I think there's no reason why you can't create them at whatever interval works best for you and your team.
That would be my preference, is to do them on TAS releases, but of course I have a very narrow view of it, you know, working on TAS. So I just want to find out if anybody has any particular objections or problems that will be caused by branching. As Amelia said, I don't think there are, because we always use master when producing the CF docs.
Yeah, okay. Okay, then we are done. If there are no other questions or topics. So thank you for attending, and take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.